come on, Donald, this is ridiculous. This is nuts. This is insane. Because what he's been saying is really totally crazy, ridiculous stuff that he shouldn't be even.
Yeah,
and he's totally nuts. He was in news and saw this odd guy with little hands, and he was like raving. He said that about somebody, that he'd like to punch him in the face. And how dare he say that to the crowd? How dare he say the things he does? Of course I want to punch him in the face. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
After hearing Robert De Niro's latest tirade against Trump, people are going crazy. For years, the Oscar-winning icon has been making fun of Trump more than a Thanksgiving turkey. But this time, the fire is burning fiercely. What did he say then? Who is angry? And is Trump there, composing a Twitter breakdown in all uppercase with his thumbs clenched? This Hollywood versus MAGA drama is going to become crazy, so buckle up, everyone.
The war, stupid. Stupid. Silly.
It's not necessary?
No. It's just a, as everybody says, it's just the Trump with his big ego saying, I want a wall, and he's going to be obstinate until he gets, it's all stupid. It's all stupid stuff.
What's the matter with him?
That's a good question. What's the matter? Well, we have to get rid of him.
But before we go any further, if you're enjoying this video, please click the subscribe button. Simply completed. Thank you. Let's return to the action now. Robert De Niro is not simply a voice when it comes to Donald Trump. He lets go like a full-fledged Hollywood action sequence. Absolutely no apologies, no hesitancy, and no filter. Not only would De Niro win the gold if celebrity roasting were an Olympic sport, but he would also take over the podium, punching Trump while making acceptance speeches.
I hate bullies, thugs who use their strength to push other people around. They think they can achieve power and hang on to it by intimidating others. Sadly, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And now we have Trump. He's all that, about intimidation, retribution. He's going to prosecute. He's going to send you to jail for having an abortion. He's going to take your Medicare and Social Security away. He's going to deport you. He's going to send the military after you if you defy him. You know what this shit works on? The MAGA politicians who are afraid of losing their power. They're so afraid of him, he's got them kissing his ass. And now they're trying to intimidate us. We will not allow that, not even for a minute, not even for a second. We need to show them our power and vote them all out, every one of them. The way to take down a bully is to look him straight in the eye and then watch.
You would believe that De Niro had a side profession as a stand-up comedian with a personal grudge against Trump because of how relentless his verbal attacks have been. He has referred to him as a mutt, a fool, and, in a moment of sheer cinematic grandeur, a complete loser over the years. If Trump can understand how darts operate, there's likely a dartboard with De Niro's face on it somewhere in Mar-a-Lago.
Give him a chance. Why won't you give the president a chance, Robert De Niro?
No, you're right. That's what I said right after he was elected. Give him a chance. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. This guy has proven himself to be a total loser.
De Niro didn't decide to go into full-blown fury mode one morning. Instead, this conflict has been simmering for years, much like a slow-burning thriller in Scorsese, where you sense that something explosive is about to happen, but are unsure of when. De Niro had already taken aim at Trump in 2016, when he was still only a reality TV personality sidelining as a politician. He called him blatantly stupid and even said he would want to smack him in the face. Let's face it, that clip is most likely the lock screen of someone. When Trump did win, De Niro didn't back off. On the contrary, he stepped up his efforts.
By real boxers in movies. I watched him last night, truly believe he may be punch drunk, and then he says, at the end, he says, "Wake up, Punchy," he says to you. And that's not the only time, and he moved over to Truth Social. Robert De Niro, whose acting talents have greatly diminished with his reputation now shot, must even use a teleprompter for his foul and disgusting language. So disrespectful to our country. Now, in all fairness to the former president, is that true? Do you have to use a teleprompter when speaking about President Trump? Or are you able to just kind of riff on your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he's so stupid.
De Niro's "I don't care, cancel me if you want" phase has formally begun by 2018. He entered the Tony Awards stage as though he were going to give the most dramatic soliloquy of his career, but instead he shouted 2 words at Trump without any buildup or monologue. As if he had just struck a buzzer beater in the NBA Finals, the crowd exploded. Alarms were likely ringing like a national emergency at Fox News headquarters in the meanwhile. As soon as the video got viral, news outlets rushed to remove it, and Twitter descended into chaos. Trump was most likely sitting in front of his television somewhere, screaming "sad" in between gulps of a perfectly cooked steak covered in ketchup.
Robert De Niro.
I'm going to say one thing.
De Niro wasn't finished, though. Every talk show, award ceremony, and public gathering became an unplanned Trump roast during the ensuing years. Being referred to as a wannabe gangster by someone who has portrayed more mobsters than the FBI has on file says something. By using derogatory terms like clown and dictator in training, he made it apparent that he was engaging in linguistic combat rather than merely providing political analysis. As De Niro continued to up the ante, the world looked on half in awe and half in shock. Whenever Trump made a contentious move, De Niro was there, ready to respond with a microphone. It was a one-man resistance effort with the vigor of a Hollywood action movie, not just criticism.
Why do you think people respond to the gangster genre so much? What is it? Why is that a classic genre?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's just that people like the outlaw type thing, except we have a wannabe gangster in the White House now.
Yeah. He does. He tries to act like a tough guy. He tries to act like a made man, yeah.
Yeah, like a made guy, yeah.
Exactly.
Call in a certain, you'd say, disappointed Dunsky. And a Dunsky is the way of calling a Don, sort of a contracted way of a Don.
Oh, really?
And so a D and a DD, you'd call him. Disappointed Dunsky.
Really?
That's what he is. He's a dumb.
This time, what did De Niro say? He gave it his all, whether it was during an award show, an interview, or just him roaring theatrically from his balcony like a Shakespearean monarch. He gave another ferocious anti-Trump diatribe while wearing a well-tailored suit and exuding peak De Niro passion. However, this was not merely a Trump is bad moment. Rather, it was a full-fledged theatrical performance, with the type of fervor one could anticipate from a man who has honed his mob boss monologues for 40 years. This time he proclaimed Trump to be the greatest danger to democracy since, well, Trump's most recent significant scandal. He questioned Trump's IQ, or lack thereof, made fun of his never-ending legal issues, and most likely made at least one remark about the way Trump drank water with both hands as if it were a priceless family relic. Flash bulbs went off, reporters scrawled frantically, the audience held on to every word, and somewhere a producer for Fox News was already putting up a program called Hollywood Elite Strikes Again.
I don't mean to scare you. No, wait, maybe I do mean to scare you. If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted. And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave. You know that. He will never leave. What does that mean? Is that the country we want to live in? Do we want him running this country and saying, I'm not leaving, I'm dictator for life?
Then the fallout ensued. Social media took off. For disrespecting the presidency, MAGA fans were incensed and demanded that De Niro be canceled, deported, or if they had their way, imprisoned. Which, as of the last time we looked, isn't a crime, but whatever. Because Trump never got a part in a Scorsese movie, some Trump fans even developed the crazy belief that De Niro was simply sour. Before the night was even over, liberals likely photoshopped his visage into Mount Rushmore, treating him like a national treasure. De Niro versus Trump is now more than just a rivalry. It's an ongoing HBO drama with no end in sight. We're just one late-night interview, one award show, or one uncensored De Niro moment away from the next episode, if history is any indication.
The protest of Robert De Niro yesterday was a fool. He's a broken-down fool standing out there. He got maggot. He got maggot yesterday. He got a big dose of it.
Donald Trump popping off on the Biden campaign's De Niro stunt, which bombed harder than Robert's last 5 movies. The actor was outside the Trump courthouse, letting his undiagnosed Trump derangement syndrome get the best of him. And even the liberal media was embarrassed.
This was a bad idea. This entire thing was not a great idea.
Step away from celebrities. I don't think it helps. I think it kind of almost, in a weird way, sometimes backfires. Oh, those liberal Hollywood elites, and they're well-intentioned, and Robert De Niro is well-intentioned, but I think staying away from the courthouse would have been the best thing.
Like a soda bottle that has been shaken too many times, the internet did what it does best: explode. Chaos broke out in a matter of seconds. Like competitors in a reality TV competition, reactions began to fly out of control. The left, they went crazy, treating De Niro's tirade as if it were the most revolutionary speech since the Gettysburg Address. Put a t-shirt with it on, put it in a frame, turn it as a ringtone, correct? All right. To put it mildly, they reacted as though someone had kicked over their lawn Trump shrine and insulted their grandmother's handmade apple pie. Blasphemy.
Nobody has worse Trump derangement syndrome than Robert De Niro, and this is peak derangement. What an absolute moron.
The idea to be bullied at my age by someone like this is not happening. And I think other people are going to have to stand up and just, because it's either that or you're going to find yourself in a situation that's so terrifying. We always hear about people from Eastern Europe, the Jews from other parts of Eastern Europe, from Western Europe coming over. Look what happened in France with the Nazis and so on. And they come over, and you hear these, and when I was a kid, they'd say, "You don't really appreciate this country. You don't really appreciate what we know from experience." Imagine what those people went through. I'm just starting to see it. As a kid, I said Hitler, it's a nightmare that never would happen. But now
The meme squad on the internet, yes, they acted more quickly than a kid could say iPad. Twitter was inundated with amusing reactions in a matter of minutes. "Give this man another Oscar just for speaking the truth," exclaimed one user. One person, however, went full Godfather mode and used comments like, "I tried to get out, but the Trump stuff pulled me back in," to Photoshop De Niro into famous mafia scenes. Hollywood, as celebrities hurried to support the roast, you could almost hear the popcorn popping. With just strategically placed eyebrow raises, you would believe De Niro was spearheading a full-fledged revolution at this point. And if you looked closely, it appeared as though the De Niro Chronicles Trump Takedown, a brand new action film, was being developed.
Well, Robert, Whoopi, I'm not sure if you ever listen to yourselves, because you're sitting here trying to persuade the public that you can read Trump's inner thoughts, while you ignore the results of his actions, which included a better economy, lower taxes, and 4 years of peace around the world, all of which are gone under the current president. So I would say the total...
The conservatives, in the meantime, the famed 2010 ice cream cone incident seems like a small annoyance in comparison to their current meltdown. Anchors on Fox News were virtually giddy with excitement, like frenzied chihuahuas on espresso, and the network was in full panic mode. The old Hollywood elites are poisoning America line, which is essentially what you say when you're at a loss for words, was dusted off. MAGA on Twitter, assuming they were on DEFCON 1, they demanded that De Niro be removed from all online outlets. Ironically, though, half of them most likely have a DVD copy of Meet the Parents.
The people that are doing it right now about Biden telling you how you should vote, even though you know he's impaired, you definitely shouldn't vote for Trump.
He has no understanding that I can see of the outside world other than anything around him. He has no idea of what his purpose in life is as the president should be, and that is to pull the country together, to be for the people, to heal wounds, not to open them up and pour salt on them.
Don't tell people that, you idiot, because it's going to make more people angry and want to vote for Trump. You are not going to convince anyone walking down the west side of New York City talking into your phone about what a threat Trump is to democracy. You aren't changing anybody's vote. You're just being a condescending, scolding, liberal which is what drives everyone crazy.
I always say he's a lowlife. He's a lowlife.
The finest aspect, the attempts to overthrow De Niro were so feeble that a high school theater club might have done a better job. They cried, "Washed-up actor seeks attention," which is funny given that he could outsmart the majority of Hollywood's younger stars with a cup of tea and a snooze. They yelled, "Stick to movies, buddy," as though the only people who could express political views were reality TV personalities. The icing on the cake, they searched through his earlier movies for a gotcha moment, and Rocky and Bullwinkle was the worst they could find. And for good reason. That is the worst thing on his resume.
This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when he got up there and cursed A lot of
Fuck
criticism
'em.
of you.
Fuck them.
Okay, well, you know, this is cable,
Sorry.
so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
Well,
I
we're
do wonder
at a
why you
point
choose to go that way.
Let me say something.
Why do you choose to go that way?
We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation. We're in a terrible situation. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on without being...
Subsequently, the politicians intervened, utilizing pop culture as a pawn for petty political points, which is their specialty. One congressman wrote, "This is why real Americans don't watch woke movies anymore," conveniently ignoring the fact that The Irishman attracted millions of viewers, including most likely them. Some even demanded that everything associated with De Niro be boycotted. Oh, I see. I wish you luck in getting folks to throw away their Blu-rays of Goodfellas. Trump's team, meanwhile, couldn't help but make a joke. It's really odd that his publicist referred to De Niro as a bitter old man from a crew that is still holding on to 2016 like a beautiful retriever puppy. What about Trump himself? He hasn't made an official statement yet, but let's face it, it won't be long until he goes on the attack on Truth Social about how De Niro pleaded with him for a movie job. Keep checking back. The post is most likely going to be released next week.
We're trying to be gentlemen in this world. The Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up. You. You're a little punk. You're a softy. You're a
Watch your back.
You're trash.
Wow. What do they call it? Trump derangement syndrome? Somebody's deranged over there.
That's exactly what this is, Maria. That is Trump derangement syndrome.
Holy moly.
And it's on explosion. We're seeing it on television firsthand. You know, we used to like De Niro in the 90s and Goodfella and Heat, but today he's continuing to show the American people he's out of touch. He can achieve the American dream, but most Americans can't today. He doesn't even understand what he's saying. Trump is a dictator. It's Biden. Remember, Biden is the one that authorized legal deadly force against President Trump during that Mar-a-Lago raid.
Right.
Biden is the one that has allowed for our country to go to an abysmal place.
A boycott is necessary for any controversy, of course, ideally one that is full with inadvertent irony. A number sign Ban De Niro movement was swiftly started by MAGA influencers, which is an intriguing decision given that Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and The Godfather are most likely sitting in their media libraries like old acquaintances. However, liberals replied by binge-watching his entire oeuvre in protest following the noble history of online indignation. This made it the most embarrassing form of opposition since the advent of passive-aggressive Facebook posts. Then came the memes. The memes, with the tagline, "We don't trade lives." De Niro was photoshopped into the Avengers lineup to stand next to Captain America. Honestly, who wouldn't want a Godfather meets Avengers crossover? Another depicted him crushing a steel chair over Trump's head in a wrestling ring. Before you knew it, De Niro voiceovers produced by AI were appearing, criticizing Trump even more harshly than he did in person. The internet, let's say, has no chill.
Robert De Niro had the audacity to compare a Trump presidency to Nazi Germany.
And I think other people are going to have to stand up and just, because it's either that or you're going to find yourself in a situation that's so terrifying. We always hear about people from Eastern Europe, the Jews from other parts of Eastern Europe, from Western Europe coming over. Look what happened in France with the Nazis and so on. And they come over and you hear these, and when I was a kid, they'd say, "You don't really appreciate this country. You don't really appreciate what we know from experience." Imagine what those people went through. I'm just starting to see it. You know, as a kid, I said, Hitler, it's a nightmare that never would happen. But now I see that it's possible.
We already had a Trump presidency, and it was nothing like the media foreshadowed it to be and warned us about. There was no new wars. The economy was good. The border was under control. We were doing good across the board on all metrics. So what the
Let's not forget Trump's long history of feuding with celebrities. His reactions have all the nuance of a wrecking ball. Do you recall his claim that Meryl Streep was overrated following her Golden Globe speech? When in doubt, use the fast infantile insult. It's a classic Trump tactic. Ironically, given that Alec Baldwin's entire career is based on using sadness for comedic effect, he once rejected Baldwin's Trump impersonations as depressing. But hey, Trump Trump's rules apply in his universe. In De Niro's case, this conflict might intensify more quickly than a poorly written reality TV story. Who knows? Perhaps the next time there will be a full-on celebrity death match, with insults coming from every tweet. It would be more entertaining than a couple hours of TV news at the very least. Yet politics and Hollywood together form a larger, more complex picture. It's similar to water and oil, but occasionally, at 3 in the morning, the oil becomes really fervent and begins rage tweeting. The continuous story of celebrities serving as cultural lightning rods and political analysts continues with De Niro's venomous comments. Although a Hollywood star's tirade won't change politics on its own, it will spark conversation, and that's one thing we can always rely on in the media culture we live in today.
It stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back.
And John Carl, the president-elect, up early on Twitter.
He sure is going to war with Hollywood's most celebrated actress. George, he went on a Twitter firestorm here. Take a look. It starts, Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me, but attacked last night at the Golden Globe.
What impact does Hollywood have on public opinion? Yes, it's true. Celebrities have been known to influence discourse, increase public awareness, and occasionally, as in this instance, throw rhetorical grenades at elected officials. Even if you disagree with every word, De Niro's ferocious speech is like the most dramatic Instagram post ever. It remains with you and eventually becomes popular. Does De Niro's criticism, however, genuinely result in any political changes? Not likely overnight. In the long run, nevertheless, these eruptions do matter. They inspire fans, spark discussions, and encourage those who are undecided to choose a side. De Niro is ultimately simply one more piece of the puzzle. He is influential and amusing, but he is not quite the solution by himself.
I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. We New Yorkers used to tolerate him when he was just another grubby real estate hustler masquerading as a big shot. A two-bit playboy lying his way into the tabloids, pretending to be a spokesperson for himself. He was calling it as himself for himself, to fool the press into inflating his net worth. A clown. Donald Trump wants to destroy the world.
There you have it, another chapter in the never-ending story of Trump versus Hollywood. Will this be another short-lived celebrity dispute that fades away like the popularity rating of a reality TV star? Or does it have the ability to endure? Who knows, really? At a MAGA event, we've all witnessed these things flame brightly before fading away more quickly than a Coke left open. When the next story breaks, we all move on after celebrities trade blows and the internet erupts. However, we shouldn't dismiss this one too quickly. Trump's unavoidable "I'm the best" folks reply, combined with a furious De Niro tirade, has all the ingredients for a protracted conflict. We have a full-fledged political soap opera that might compete with The Real Housewives when we combine Hollywood liberals, ardent MAGA fans, and a media cycle that lives on drama. In actuality, these celebrity altercations, albeit amusing, speak to a much larger issue: our preoccupation with spectacle. Although De Niro's remarks may not change the course of history, they certainly stir things up. Trump versus Hollywood is like an overdone steak in politics.